Utah State takes on North Dakota for the first time ever. The two teams will face each other on Friday night in Logan. And their head coach, Bubba Schweigert, I don't know why I said Bubby, Bubba Schweigert, joins us now here in the Full Court Press. Sorry about that, Coach.
Hey,
but,
Coach.
Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good to be with you.
Hey, first of all, this it's kind of becoming a national story over the last week or so about these FCS schools performing really well against FBS programs. And first of all, I just want to get your idea as to why that might be.
Well, I think, there's some really good programs and good teams at the FCS level. If, you look at some of the games last week, South Dakota State is from our league here in the Missouri Valley, and, they've had a good history in FCS here, especially the last few years, and have a lot of respect for Dan Hawkins out there at Cal Davis, and they won a game, and Eastern Washington has done this, a number of times, and those are just a few of the teams that I'm familiar with, and, they're good football teams, and I think, you look at these teams and, anything can happen in a football game, and if you take care of the football and you limit penalties and do a good job on special teams, you have a good opportunity to be successful.
Hey, Coach, a 21-point win over Idaho State last week. You guys did a pretty good job in taking care of the ball. On the defensive side, you were able to force some turnovers. Talk about that game last week and what you saw out of your guys.
Yeah, we were pleased to go out there and get a win. We think anytime you go on the road, it's a challenge, and this was the first time our 2021 team has been on the road, and the first time we were out playing a game. So I thought we had a good fall camp, and until you get out there in the game, you don't know how your guys are going to react. But what really helped us was, we forced an early turnover and turned that into points, and I thought that gave us a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence early in the season. And then, it was kind of a battle throughout the first half, and we had a nice goal line stand that gave us some momentum, and really to follow up the goal line stand with moving the ball out of our own end and getting 3 points, I thought was key. And then a really good third quarter with forcing a couple turnovers and, turning them into points. And then we'd like to play better in the fourth. I thought we got a little bit, lost our focus, lost some of our discipline in the fourth quarter. So there's always things to work on, but we were pleased with the win. It's a place that, and a team that we, have had a real struggle with, a tough matchup. And so we were pleased to go on the road and get that first win.
Coach, I kind of want to go back to the weird year that you guys had and everybody in FCS had, having a season in the spring, normally a time reserved for development and, just trying to figure out who you have, and instead you're trying to figure out, week to week who you're facing. Having that spring season, and you guys had a good spring. You had a good season, 5-2, and you made it to the FCS quarterfinals. But how does that, going through a regular season in the spring, has that prepared you for what you're going through now as you're getting into this typical fall season?
Yeah, I think anytime you can play games, you can improve as a football program. And, when our conference called off the fall season, they asked us to take the temperature of our team, what we want to do, and our guys wanted to play. We had one guy who was graduating with a graduate degree in December of 2020, and he opted out, but the rest of our guys wanted to play. So we went ahead and played, and I think it helped our program. It helped our team. We were able to host some teams. It would have been our first year in the Missouri Valley Football Conference, so we hosted South Dakota State and South Dakota, some teams that we hadn't played for a while, and then we went down to North Dakota State, and we did have a good, solid spring. I thought we played pretty well and earned a spot in the playoffs. We were able to win a playoff game and then go on the road and play James Madison, who's been one of the top teams in FCS for, a number of years now, and we can grow and learn from those experiences. So I thought it was really good for a football program. The challenge was, how do you handle the physical wear and tear on the guys and come back and play a fall season? So that was the challenge for us. And some of our guys, still recovering from injury a bit because of the quick turnaround.
Well, that was going to be a follow-up question that I had for you, was how has that affected the health of your team, having to go through a regular season like you did and not have as much time for recovery?
Yeah, there's 4 guys that it affected. Brock Boltman is still coming back. He's a receiver for us, and he played some last week. Bo Belquist was injured in the first round of the playoffs, and he's coming back, and we don't know how much he'll be able to go on Saturday night. He'll make the trip, or on Friday night, I'm sorry. He'll make the trip, but we aren't quite sure. Jordan Kennedy is safety for us in the same situation. Evan Holm recovered probably quicker than we thought, so we were pleased to see him in and get some reps at corner. We played him a little spot play last week, but as he gets healthier and feels better, he'll play more snaps for us. So those were the 4 guys that were the main guys that had to recover from some season-ending injuries, and we needed to do a good job with rehabbing them. I thought our sports medicine staff and PT staff did an excellent job with those guys, and at some point they'll all be back this season.
So, Coach, other than those 4 guys, do you feel like you guys are healthy going into Utah State?
Yeah, we unfortunately lost an outside backer. Ray Haas was injured, and we lost him, and that'll be his season ending, and that was unfortunate. So it happens. It's part of it. I've been coaching this game for a long time. The one thing that I'll just never get over are the injuries that end seasons for guys, and especially Ray came back for his 6th year and was split. We felt he was really ready for a big season for us. He was confident in knowing the defense and was really playing well Saturday night, and had popped a couple balls loose and tackled for loss, and then he got injured. And really unfortunate. But other than that, we came out of the game pretty healthy, and that was going to be important because we knew it was one less day of recovery with a Friday night game, but we were pretty pleased how we got out of the game health-wise.
Head coach of the North Dakota Fighting Hawks, Bubba Schweigert, joins us here on the Full Court Press. Coach, it's a short week, and then you got to go on the road to face the Utah State Aggies. What have you learned about Utah State so far in your ability to prepare for them? What have you seen out of them offensively and defensively that stands out to you?
Well, I was very impressed with their win over Washington State. They're on the road, and first time this staff was coaching the team, but I saw a team that played with a lot of energy and a lot of desire. Defensively, I thought they really ran to the ball hard and got pressure on the quarterback, and with the exception of one big run play, really played solid against Washington State. And it's a team with a lot of talent, and rotating guys in up front, so they stay fresh and they play with a lot of desire and energy, and that's always impressive when you see guys do that. And then offensively, the challenge is to get used to the fast pace, and that'll be something that we worked hard on in practice. And we've seen this at times, this fast pace, but I think they really executed very well, and was really impressed with them down the stretch, how they, kept hanging in there and gave themselves a chance in the fourth quarter. And sure enough, they won the fourth quarter and won the football game. They deserved to win this game. They really did. And, the one thing that we are well aware of, too, is their talent on special teams. And, when you have a guy that has 6 career kickoff returns for touchdowns, that's pretty impressive. So those are things that are concerning to us, and we'll work hard this week preparing for them. But I'm impressed with the football team. I've been impressed with Coach Anderson for a long time, known of him and watched his teams play very well throughout the years.
Coach, Utah State is trying to still figure out their quarterback situation. Peasley and Bonner got a lot of action in game 1. But that's something certainly you're familiar with, too, not just trying to just settle on who a quarterback ought to be, but you're using 2 quarterbacks. Tommy Schuster looks like he's getting the bulk of snaps, but you still use Quincy Vaughn in certain situations. Explain your philosophy between using 2 different quarterbacks in a game.
Well, what we talk about as a staff here is let's use our roster, and let's put guys in situations where they can be successful, and we try to do that at all positions. And we're doing that at the quarterback position too. We think Quincy has some skills that we want to get him in the game, that we take advantage. He's a big, strong guy, and he's run the ball well when he gets those opportunities. And we really like the way Tommy plays quarterback. He isn't a guy that's going to win any contests at combines, but we think he's got some mobility, and he knows where the ball is supposed to go, and can distribute the ball and run an offense and our offense at a high level. And the best thing about Tommy, though, he's really even keel. I think it really helps our football team, no matter what the environment is that we play in, and he stays really calm, and that really helps us. So we got to continue to find what he does well and the strengths he has, and also with Quincy, bringing him along so he can run more and more of the offense, so we can challenge opponents. How does he prepare for each guy when they're in the game? So I come from a defensive background, and when you got to have two different plans and prepare for different guys at different positions, I think that's really hard on defensive coordinators and defenses. So that's our philosophy.
It helps to have a good back. Otis Weah has been really impressive. He's a consensus All-American and Walter Payton Award watch list member. He's 22 carries for 114 yards and 3 touchdowns. Introduce us to Otis and what kind of back he is.
Yeah, he's a short, stocky guy, very strong with really good balance. And we feel like he can run different type of run plays. He can run inside the tackles. He's got good hands, so he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's really good in pass protection, and that's one thing we challenge him to do. So, to learn the protections and be a good protector of the quarterback. But as far as running the ball, he's hard to bring down. He plays the game with a lot of energy. The guy you see on the game field is the guy you'd see at practice. He brings a lot of energy to practice, runs low to the ground. And he's a guy he's really hungry to get better. And we've got to find a way to get him into space, because we think he's hard to tackle once he gets into that space. And but this will be a challenge for us, against Utah State, how we get him into space. But he's been pretty good when he gets into space, and he's really good in the red zone. He seems to have a real nose for the end zone, and some of his best runs have been close to the goal line throughout his time here at University of North Dakota.
Hey, defensively, Coach, you had said that Evan Holm is a guy that's coming back from injury, but you did have that 64-yard interception return, pretty big play for you guys. Is that pretty typical of him and what that secondary for your squad can do?
Yeah, Evan's been a guy that, unfortunately, he's had some injuries that have held up his career a bit. We played him as a true freshman. He's very fast. He was a really good high school player, and he also played on a really good rugby team that played in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and they actually did some trips to Europe and all that. So he was, used to contact throughout the year, and we just really need to have him for a full season, because he's made big plays, and he's had a kickoff return for a score in his career here, and he's a fast guy that we need healthy, because he's a smart player and really competitive. So we're happy to have him back. And in our team, we're a pressure team and want to get and affect the quarterback, and that's when we think we're playing well. We always design, how do we stop the run? And we know this is going to be a challenge against Utah State, because we got to stop the run. I think a lot of people get the impression when they're going fast, they want to throw the ball. They want to run the football, and they're very good at it. So our secondary can play better if we stop the run. And I think Evan's one of those guys that if we force people to have to throw the football, he's got a good nose for the ball and can make plays like that for us.
And then last question about some of that pressure that you want to do up front. Jackson Turner had a big sack against Idaho State. Who else on that defensive front really stands out to you right now?
Yeah, we rotate a lot of guys up there, but we do have experience coming back at the nose. Jalen Morrison is back. We think Jalen Johnson has some good skills. He's a player that walked on here that just has really done a good job of changing his body and and create some havoc in there. And then Quentin Seguin, who's a senior, can really run, and those guys mix it up. But we really try to get our pressure by bringing backers and trying to confuse the offense a bit and change it up and get pressures that way. Jackson he's our best one-on-one pass rusher, and he made 2 big plays in the third quarter last week, and this has kind of been his history and in his career here. He can come off the edge and strip the ball from the quarterback or get some sacks, and that's been good for us. But we got a number of guys that we rotate in there, and we got to see those guys take a next step in their progression in the program. That's for sure.
And Coach, look, we understand the whole FCS versus FBS thing. You FCS teams have not been playing nicely with the FBS teams and just kind of beating them around every which way all over the country this year. What do you tell your kids, even though you're ranked 8th in the country in your level, what do you tell your kids coming into this game to give them confidence, if they even need that confidence, going into Logan on Friday night?
Oh, well, we always focus on our preparation. I tell our guys that Utah State happens to be an opponent, and we're well aware that they went on the road and beat a Pac-12 team. So we know, it's going to be a huge challenge for our program. But what we challenge our guys is, preparation. Focus on that. Focus on the plan, and that's the best thing that we can do because that's what we're in control of. We know they're going to be very talented. We know that they're going to have a good crowd after coming off a road victory and all this, and it'll be a good environment, good challenge for our program. So we're looking forward to playing, but that's how we approach it. We try to approach every week as a challenge to focus on our preparation and go out and perform at the highest level that we can play.
Well, Coach Bubba Schweigert, we really appreciate your time. You've been very generous spending some time with us, even when I screwed up the how to pronounce your name earlier in the show.
Yeah, I'm not going to let that go.
But we do appreciate your time, good. and best luck in travels to Logan. And where did you guys fly to? How was your travel? Because you were just in the area not that long ago when you went up to Pocatello. Did you fly out of Salt Lake?
Yeah, we flew right into Pocatello.
Oh, you flew right into Pokie. Okay.
Yeah. They put the brakes on in a hurry. We made it work.
Hey, well, Coach, I can tell you, I know Coach Anderson has a ton of respect for North Dakota. He has been telling everybody who thinks that this is a quote-unquote gimme game, think the opposite of that North Dakota is a major problem and a major headache to have to deal with on Friday night. So the same respect, I think, goes the way of your team and your coaching staff as well. So wish you the best. Good luck and be safe.
All right, we'll see you out there. We're looking forward to the trip.
All right, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.